Well, hello everybody. Good morning here in Australia, or good evening over there in the USA. It is Sharon here from the blog I Restore Stuff, right here on Essential Stencils page to share with you another stencil project, and I'm excited today. So it's Thursday here in Australia, which means it's Thanksgiving, but we don't have Thanksgiving here in Australia because it's an American tradition. But sometimes I do go out of my way and I make a Thanksgiving meal. But see, most people are still working here in Australia, so I didn't get to make any pumpkin pie. I would really love that and a cup of coffee right now. That would be lovely. So if anyone's got some pumpkin pie ready-made, send it on over. I'm ready. Or some pecan pie. That would be amazing as well. Hi, Peggy. Hi, everybody. Hi, Jennifer. I wanted to show you, and I put this on my page. So my page is called I Restore Stuff, if you missed that earlier. Oops, I still can't see my live going. I'm going to have to refresh this page over here on my laptop for a second. I put on my I Restore Stuff page, so you can see me at I Restore Stuff anywhere on the interwebs. That's it there. On Instagram, Facebook page. I put over a little project we did with the stencil of the month from last month, November, using the Gingerbread house stencil. So my daughter Tori created the outline of these using just some clay, modeling clay. So she created these. I've put a little video up on our Stencil of the Month Club, actually. I shared that in there. So she outlined that using just a knife in the stencil of the Gingerbread man, and then we painted it this mocha brown color. Actually, it's a chalk paint that we have here in Australia, and then I stenciled it just using some ordinary paints. I haven't even sealed it or anything because literally it's just going to be sitting on my tree. So I just wanted to show you that fun thing. This is just an extra small tree that I have here sitting on our dining table when I'm not working on other craft projects, but here we go. Oh look, and it was filled with candy canes, and there's one lonely candy cane left on the tree. So it looks like we're going to have to get some more of those. Anyway, just while we were waiting for people to pop on, I just wanted to show you that fun project. So if you wanted to make some things out of modeling clay, there's a fun idea. All right, let me see if I can sometimes see my live over here on my laptop, but mostly I think I can see comments coming through from you over there. Amazing. Valerie said she was just looking at those cute little gingerbread men. Yes, you are so welcome. All right, so today I'm going to be working on a Christmas porch leaner. So it is called 'Tis the Season. Now, so what is everybody doing right now? I'm imagining if it's Thanksgiving Eve over there, type in the comments, what are you prepping for Thanksgiving Day? I want to see. I'm sure that a lot of you are probably not, you've got all your craft stuff packed away, but while you're making whatever it is you're making, are you prepping the turkey? Are you making stuffing? Are you cooking pies? Let me know. I'm going to be here just wishing that I was eating some of the food, probably. Thank you so much, Gladys, for sharing this live. So you can hit that little share button, share it with your friends and people you know. This is the 'Tis the Season porch board leaner. It's a lot of the porch board signs are made for 5-foot boards. Mine is about 2 inches short of a 5-foot board, so I won't be adding. The 'Tis the Season stencil has the words in a few sections. I've got my board, this is why we're shooting at landscape today, because I've got my board way out over here. Well, let me just see what people are cooking. Cherry pie. Now, Marty's dad is great at making cherry pie. Decorating, thawing the turkeys. Someone else baked a cherry pie. Wow. You guys are going for it. Well, I hope you enjoy the live as you're doing whatever it is you're doing in the kitchen. Turn the volume up and you'll be able to see what we're doing. But I've got 'Tis the Season. You can see I've got a head start here because porch board leaners can take a while. And I'm going to be combining a couple of the other stencil sets from the brand new Stencils. And I'm just going to take you right to the top of my board so you can see what I've done here. So I've painted the back of the board in a black chalk paint. So it's chalk paint, not chalkboard paint, but it's kind of very similar in that it has that chalky feeling of a chalkboard. So it's a black chalk paint, and then I'm using chalk paint to paint the words onto it. So it's got that kind of chalky look about it, and then you can seal it at the end. So if you can see the end here, I was saying earlier that my board is just short of the 5 foot that it is. And so I'm actually moving this up, and I'm not including the little wreath here, and you'll see why in a little while. Stick around, you don't want to miss the end of our live because we're adding some things. I'm going to show you some shadowing techniques because people like it when I show that. Now I have left a bit of a gap down here at the base. Now there is another, so it has, let's see, this top section, then we've got SE, then AS, and then ON, and you can see I've got a little head start on the ON. There is a little gap down here at the bottom of the board, and that is where you would normally put this wreath, but because I didn't have room for the other wreath at the top, I've let that hang over. I wanted to just leave a bit of a gap here at the bottom of the board, and I might do something like this on either side, but I have 2 other stencils from the other new sets that we're going to be working with today. And so let's just continue and carry on and get a head start, and I'm going to see if I can read some of your comments as we go. Happy Thanksgiving to you all. If you've just joined me, wow, Elizabeth's got a big message there. She's in Massachusetts, suddenly turned winter. Wow, that's wonderful. I'm guessing it snowed. All right, so I'm offloading my paint, and you can see, if you can see that, you can see it does kind of look a little bit chalky. Now there is a difference, I might as well talk about that. There is a bit of a difference between, I'm a furniture painter, so there's about 3 different types of furniture paint that you can use that are sort of on the market right now for painting furniture. Offloading my brush, and then just using a swirling method on here. Now I'm using my large Essential Stencil brush, and I think these are still in stock. There's 4 in the set, really good value, great to use. Using a swirling method to swirl it all around, and we make sure that we don't get any bleed underneath, as long as that is all offloaded as much as we can. There are really large sections here, so we may need to add more to our brush, but it's best not to add too much, because if you have too much on your brush, you can kind of get it under those edges, okay? Now I was talking about the different types of paint. There's chalk paint, milk paint, and mineral paint. The chalk paint and milk paint both have a porous finish, which means you need to seal them. So this will need sealing, especially if you're going to put it out in the weather, whereas the mineral paints have sort of like a built-in top coat, and so they don't need sealing. They do have a matte finish, similar to chalk-based paints, but you will notice a real chalky feel, and so therefore this is really chalky and porous, and so you'll see the white chalk paint looks a little bit patchy as I'm going along, but I feel like I really like that look. When it's finished, you'll see it almost looks like you've put chalk on a chalkboard, and so I'm not concerned about it having sort of a patchy coverage here. It gives it that authentic chalked look, if that makes sense. Look at you all saying happy Thanksgiving to everybody from everywhere. Oh, look, there's a few people from Texas all in a row commenting there. California, welcome. Welcome, everybody. So excited that you're all here. And if you've just joined me, you want to stay tuned too, because we do have prizes being given out at the end. Why am I not sitting down? Okay, so let me see. I've got to move along because we've got a long chalkboard, Lena, here today. Now don't forget, use my code IRESTORESTUFF if you want to get 10% off anything in Essential Stencils store, and that includes brushes, any of the stencil sets, and the beautiful transfers. I'm not going to be using any of the transfers today, but you sure could for some of the ideas that I'm going to show you with this porch board. Most people will sort of cut their boards to the length and width that they need for their stencils. So this one is made for a 5-foot board, and the stencils are about 9 inches across. And as you can see, so some people might, you know, maybe have a 10 or 12 inch board. I've got quite a few inches either side here. So with these other stencils that I'm going to show you, I am hoping to add a little bit extra, and I'll show you what those are in just a minute. I love combining, if you watch any of my lives, I love combining stencil sets, and because there's just so much that you can do with all of them, you know, even just using them by themselves, fantastic. But hey, when you can combine them, you just get so many more options available to you. And I've taped each of my stencils down with painter's tape. Here we go, offloading onto the cardboard. And I will try and catch your comments every now and then, everyone. So I'm using just a chalk paint that I sell here in Australia. So if you are from Australia, you can get that from my website, irestorestuff.com. But if you're not, most of you are from the USA, you can get a lot of different chalk paints over there. There's so many different brands of chalk paint. Or it might not say chalk paint, it could say chalk finish or chalky type paint. So just have a look around for those at your local stores. Okay, just trying to catch any comments that I might. Yes, I'll move up my chair and we'll move the camera along to catch our next bit. And I'll show you how at the top here, I could also use, shuffle the board down a little bit, couldn't I? So I was saying at the beginning of the live, I have taken off this bit at the top and moved the whole stencil up the board. Sometimes you might want to leave a little bit of a gap down on the bottom of your board, because this, as a porch leaner, sometimes you've got other decor there to mix and match, or to display, create a little display with your porch board. You might include a plant or something down at the base. And so by just moving your stencil up as far as it can go, you kind of give a little bit more space down the bottom for things that you might have sitting beside your leaner. Okay, you can see that I'm using those large areas on the stencil to really offload a lot of that paint too. And instead of working into the edges, I'm working into the center, from the edge to the center. And a little bit of swirling. Oop, just gonna make sure, I hope that doesn't get in my little gap there. So these stencils, each of the stencils, you've got 2 letters here, 2 letters here. They're made and designed so that if you butt those right up next to each other, they'll be the perfect distance apart from each other. So that distance here will equal the same as this distance here. Very smartly made so that you don't have to put them up, put them up, overlap them. That's the word I'm looking for. If you're watching the replay too, don't forget to comment the word replay at the in the 24 hours after the live. We'll give away a prize to some lucky winner for the replay. As for those of you here watching live, join in the comments, because that's where we'll be choosing our winners from. Who's here for the first time, has never stenciled before, or if you've never watched one of Essential Stencils lives with one of our ambassadors? Let us know in the comments if you're new here. We have a very welcoming community, and a lot of members are in the Stencil of the Month Club. They have their own Facebook group. If you are a part of the Stencil of the Month Club, you get delivered to your door or your mailbox a set of stencils, a set of 3 stencils, 3 whole, like, it's not just one little picture, it's a whole set of 3 stencils that you can combine and work together towards. You just have to look at stencilofthemonthclub.com to have a look at the beautiful sets that are available there. And Melissa has designed the December Stencil of the Month Club set, and it is adorable, so I can't wait to get that in the mail. But every month you have these amazing stencils delivered. And if you want 50% off, you can use my code IRestoreStuff and get 50% off your first month if you haven't joined the Stencil of the Month Club yet. So see how that looks really quite chalky? I'm not sure if you're seeing close there, but I like that nice rustic chalk looking. And we can push this down one more little bit. So this is the Tis the Season Porch Leaner. Let me know if you ordered this one in the new set of stencils. There's some beautiful designs that I'm seeing. People doing wonderful things with this. In fact, I saw one in the Stencil of the Month Club this morning and I commented on it. And I can't remember who that was, but it was a really beautiful design. They used this Tis the Season and had a background with all the other stencils, a bunch of other stencils from the new collection in the background. Really subtle, just looked really lovely. Was it Jacqueline? I'm trying to remember who that was. Someone will remind me that's in the club. Shout out to them because it was really good. Have some lovely ideas in the Stencil of the Month Club Facebook group. Okay, so I'm pouncing and swirling at the same time. We've got a bit of a chalky look happening here. Now I'm just doing the Tis, and remember this little, what do you call that? Is it a holly? No, it's not a holly branch. The little branch, anyway, is not going to be on the top. I've got some other ideas using two other stencil sets that I'll show you in just a minute. Does anyone else get wrist fatigue when they're stenciling large projects? And especially when I'm trying to rush, my wrist is getting a little bit fatigued, shall we say. But these brushes are really good. Very flexible. They hold a lot of paint. They come in a set of 4. These are on the Essential Stencil site as well. So use my code IRestoreStuff for any of your ordering, and you get 10% off everything in the shop. We'll use my links above. Okay, so that is that, and we've done that section. So if you're going to use the white again, which I will be, I like to use a wet cloth and just wrap my brush in that wet cloth, and I'll pop that cloth over the paint. It shouldn't be too long. All right, so here's the big reveal of this, and then we're going to add to it. So I'll show you what I mean by that chalky look, and it still has nice crisp lines at the sides. So let's put that down. Oh, I have to stand up for this. You'll be able to see, but doesn't it look really nice and sharp on that chalk background? Sandy says she's painting a small table today and thought of me. Make it look so easy. Oh, lots of practice, I suppose, is... and also, I think that sometimes we tend to try and be over perfect, you know, and so let me just draw your attention to the rough looking stenciling and how it does look chalky and it really doesn't matter. So look at that. You can see the patchiness right here. Now, if I was deciding, look, I want that to be perfect, then I would just wait till that dries, go over it with another coat. But can you see how from this distance here, and you could even just distress that even more to make it looks more authentic, I think, and chalky. I'm trying to get this stencil off here now. When you have that roughness about it. So can you see that? So there is our sign. Now, any little scratches or even fingerprints will show up on chalk paint. So that's what I mean by that chalky finish. Then you wipe it all down at the end. But when you seal it, once you seal chalk paint, that's when you just have a nice matte color, and it doesn't show the fingerprints as much once you've sealed it. But until then, you kind of get a little bit of that. All right, on to our next lots of stencils that I want to use. So remember that comes with these little type of wreath things. I might put a couple of these down the bottom, one that side and one that side. We're using the, oh, I wasn't sure what that comment was referring to, so I won't repeat it. You're answering each other sometimes and it makes it confusing to like, oh, were they talking to me? All right, so a couple of the stencils that I'll be using. There's this one, which is it's called Joy to the World. And it has this gorgeous star right here. So I think that I might put the star up here. And I also love these little berries and branches that are also on this other set. And the soul felt its worth. It also has another couple of little stars that you could use, a little swirl. You know, you could put the swirl at the bottom. So that's one of the stencil sets. Now this is the other one. I love this idea that Essential Stencil has done with this, and it is the Joyful 2-pack. Here it is here, and you'll see on their example there, it's a 2-pack, so this is the other side. The other part of it is these little, we've got the cardinals up the top, we've got branches, we've got berries, we've got pine cones, and the idea is to put them all on the Joyful word. So I'm not going to use the Joyful today, but I am going to use these little guys and sit them in my letters. So that's what I'll be doing. And we're not going to see the full entire thing until the end. So if you can hang around to the end, that would be great. So I wanted to throw in some red. So I've got some other chalk paints here and some mocha for the pine cones. I thought that would be good. I didn't bring green, guys. I didn't bring some green. Oh well. Oh well, that's okay. We might have white branches. All right, so this O here, and similar to what they had on the Joyful example, on their little image example down here, they had this on the O. So I'm going to try and do that on the O. And this looks red. In fact, I think I'll do that all red. But what I want to show you is a little bit of a difference of when you want to make something red. And I might use the black because I've got it on chalkboard. I'll use this as an example so you can see the difference. I'll show you in a minute. What I'm going to do is paint it white first. Okay, so I want to use the white to really make the other colours pop. So here's our little design here, and I know that I'm going over the top of my already white, so it's kind of white on white. You want to make sure you're not going to get on that. So any of the links for the stencils that I'm using today are in the description of the live, right up the top, or wherever you click on the link to the description or caption of the live. So here is the base. And so we see that there, but it's not standing out. But what I wanted to do was show you how you can use that as a background. So what I need to do first is to wipe that off so that we don't have white chalk paint when I paint it the red, for example. Oh, I wish I'd gotten some green, and it's way over in my garage. Might have to do some green later. Go over it with green. Okay, so now I'm going to do the red and create a bit of a shadow. So I'm going to get my red paint out here. And this is a colour called Merlot. It's kind of a wine red. Just adding a tiny bit in these large bottles into a jar here. And of course we're going to use a different brush, a smaller one of the Essential Stencil brushes. Now to make our shadow, let's see if, I'm not sure if I can get any closer. There we go. Yeah, we're going to be adding a whole bunch of things to our stencil here. So with this we make a bit of a shadow. So I'm just moving it again slightly. I put it directly on the stencil where I've stenciled earlier. Then I'm going to lift it slightly up and slightly across, and then I'll use that red, so dipping it in and offloading the red. And then having that white in the background behind it. I'll just do it, oh, I don't know if I can get the berries without getting the, might have to do some green later, but you get the idea. Should probably wait until that white has dried, but the chalk paint really dries quite fast, so. I'll tape that off later and do some green on the branches possibly. Okay, so just having a look at that now. Let's see if I can lift that up. And that helps to really pop that and bring the red forward. I'm gonna have to lift that slightly so you can see. This large board, there we go. So let's see if you can see that a little bit clearer. Oh. Now the next thing, I'm going to put a little cute cardinal on the S. Let's see if we can do that. And which one will we choose? And where will we put it? I've got all this space out the side, so I don't have to have them exactly on the letter, but look at all the different little spots you could put him sitting there, sitting out here. So I might have it sitting just out here like so, or we could even sit it just right here on the S. That looks cute too. So I wanted to, again, add some white to the background, because if I just put red on black, it can sometimes get a bit lost. So doing that again. Adding a bit of white. I really just have to add the white to the base parts of it that are going to be shadowed. I don't have to fill in the whole bird. And then I get the red. And I'm going to lift it slightly and slightly across. Which way did I shift this one? Yes, across towards me. So it doesn't matter which way you go across, but do it all the same for each of the items that you'll be adding on, okay? So here we go. Now we want this full coverage of red here, so. And if you need more, it's better to do a second coat rather than risk it bleeding underneath. Hopefully I haven't put too much on that one to bleed it under. But there we go. It's a cute little cardinal sitting on there. Hi Rebecca, I recognise that name. My Aussie friend who visits our lives, and she's in Brisbane. Happy Thanksgiving if I haven't said it already to you all. So doing a quick wipe off of the stencil. I don't know if you can see that there. Just using a wet cloth. If you wipe off chalk paint right away, it comes off the surface really easily. So just remember to wipe the background. I should have a protector down on my dining table. All right, so the next thing I think I'll use, let me see how far we've got up here. Got the A, we could always use so this is the one with the long tail. There's this little guy, we could use him somewhere else, but I could add a little berry and a leaf or a pine cone. I was thinking of using a pine cone somewhere. I might do that down the bottom, just on here. Now the pine cone, we'll use that brown mocha colour. So I'll add a bit of that into a dish. Yeah, so someone might have been asking about why I painted the white down first. That's to create a bit of a shadow to make that stand out a bit more, make the colour, the red, stand out a bit more. So that's the reason I added a white as a base on the black. And same with this mocha brown colour that I'm going to be using for those pine cones. I want to, it's my cloth, and I need a brush, another brush. Let's see if we use this one. I'll leave that there. So I'll use the white first again. Let me show you on here. This can be my example. Okay, this is just one of the black cardstocks, and I'll see if I can get down low. I'll do one that's white and one that's not white, so you can see the difference. Just on the black card. Oop. Let's see. I'll do it here first and then I'll do it on the card so that I don't have to move it again. Adding the pine cone. Now I'll pop it on the card so we can see it a bit clearer, and then I can hold it up to the camera. Otherwise I have to hold up my massive board. We're doing a porch leaner. If you've just joined me, welcome to the live. Stay tuned for prizes at the end. Essential Stencil prizes. Here we go. And any of the links, those links for any of the stencils I'm using today in the description of the live. Get another cloth. Ah, got stencils on the floor my feet are sticking to. Oh dear. Okay, so I'm just going to clean this off because now I'm going to use the brown mocha colour to create the pine cone look. And if you missed it before, I forgot to bring green and it's a long way away in my garage, so I'm going to have to probably go over some to add a bit of greenery. But for right now, we'll use this. Okay, so here I will do this example first so that you can see clearly this same pine cone. I've done that one with the white background. This is it, and it will be just the brown by itself, and then I'll do the brown over the white. See if you can tell a bit of a difference. I love doing this shadowing technique just for this reason, to just make things pop a little bit more. Okay, so this is just on a black cardstock that came out of the stencil packet. And there's the brown here, just by itself. I'll hold it up in a minute. I'm trying to dry that quickly. But I'll lay this down and create a shadow by moving my stencil slightly up and slightly across. So that's exactly the stencil there. So I want to move it slightly up, slightly across so that I can create a bit of a shadow look. Now we'll go over it again with the brown. And you'll see it just helps create a bit of depth to those images, and especially because we're doing them over this white lettering which is on black, so you need something behind it to just kind of make that pop. See if hopefully that makes it pop a lot more, and that will be a lot more clear as to why we do that. So here it is on a piece of card. This is just the brown by itself on black, and then this is the brown with the white underneath. So you can see how much more this one stands out, pops. The pine cones are so cute, aren't they? So see how that just adds a little bit of extra dimension. It makes it stand out from the crowd. So we've got the white on here. So let's now add its brown base using, I've got to find exactly where I always lay the stencil exactly where it was on the white when I painted it white. And now I'm going to shift it slightly up and slightly towards me. And I think I could have enough brown left on here, but no, I don't. So I'm just going to dip that in a little bit more, offload it on my cardboard. go over and do those leaves green later. It's really annoying me that I didn't get the green out. That's what I try to be prepared for all my lives and have all the colours that I need and then forget one. Okay, so there is our cute little pine cone. We could do something on every letter, or we could just leave a few. So let me just get that white again, because what I want to do is put these. Now this comes with the 'Tis the Season, but also there is the lovely, where is it? The lovely wreaths that we have on the back of this one, which was it's called Joy to the World. And I want to use the star from this as well. So create a few extra little things on the side. Who is enjoying their Thanksgiving evening? And I was asking earlier when we first jumped in, who was preparing for Thanksgiving meals tomorrow. There's a lot of pies being baked that are sounding delicious. I could take something right now. Okay, so these are the little cute decorations I thought I could use sort of further up the top, but I'll use this here for now. Get my white, get my board. And now this one, it is a little bit close to the edge. Just going to lift that up a bit. A little, if you can see that there, if I stencil this here, I risk going off this edge. And so I want to tape that down with some painter's tape that I had earlier for the letters, just to make sure that's not going to go off the edge there, because I've got quite a large brush. I could choose a smaller brush, but it had white paint on it already, so why dirty another paintbrush, hey? Make more work for myself. Just add a bit of tape and we're good to go. So this is just one of the little decorations that finishes off a porch board sign. If you had 5-foot porch board, which mine is not, it's a couple of inches too short, so it didn't fit the things on it, these things, branches. They are lovely, and you can imagine all the things that you can use these for. So just go check if you've got a bunch of stencils, if you've got the porch board leaner, a bunch of those, just check the insides, what other little bits come with them, because you can use them for all sorts of other stencils. So I will wipe this off first, because I'm going to flip this so that it looks like it's the opposite. It's mirror image, okay? So we're going to make the mirror image go onto the other side of the board. Wow. And you know that you could also use the new transfers. So who's got those gorgeous new Christmas transfers? You could use those also for decorating and putting here, and you know, adding a little cardinal. You could just rub on the transfers. So that's another idea. Oh, I could get all fancy and accurate and measure this, but hey, let's not. Let's just wing it. Sharon style here. We'll add a bit of tape again so that we don't paint over the edge. Dip a little bit more white. And oh, thank you. Someone said they like hearing all the helpful hints. I try and add a few helpful hints as much as I can. Okay, here's next one going down. So this is just on the opposite side, and I've just flipped it over to the reverse side. And you can do that too, even if you're using these on the top or the bottom of your porch leaner. Is, you know, flip one way and then flip the other one the other way. A little bit more paint on my brush. Offload a brush just to make sure that we don't have too much on the bristles. Offloading also works the paint into the bristles to help distribute the paint evenly rather than having it in a big blob and running under and causing fuzzy edges. We don't want fuzzy edges. If you do still get fuzzy edges, just practice some more on a piece of cardboard. See, I've got a little bit of a fuzzy edge right there, but that's okay. You won't tell from a distance. It'll be just fine. So we could use that one again down the sides if we wanted to. There's so much that you could play with using all of these little stencils. So let's move on to this star one. I'll use these again in a minute, but we'll kind of come up the north side, the top side of our thing here. Where's my star gone? The Joy to the World stencil has a gorgeous star in it. Let's see, are we up there yet? Got to shove my, whoops, knocking things off the table. My dining table needs to be a whole lot bigger. Okay, so now we're up the top side of our Porch Lena. And we've got this beautiful star, and I just think it would look lovely over here. Star reminding us of first Christmas, Bethlehem star. There we go, and I'm going to do that white. You could do it yellow, you could do it again, you could do it with that shadowing technique with the white underneath and making it gold or shimmery, or I don't know, what colour would you put in there? Oh, someone just said star in gold. That would be perfect if I had got my gold out. So sometimes I tell you the ideas, sometimes I actually do them. And oh, I like that look. See, that would look great in gold if you had that center kind of all free of paint. That's all filled in now. Whoop. Once again, it's got that shadowy, chalky look. Beautiful. So we've got a star. I like these cute little stars here too, so we could just, I think, scatter some of those down the board because we've got all this space to fill on the sides. And you know, there's a bit of a trick to just putting too many things and how to distribute them around the place as well. If you're worried about getting painting accidentally on some of those words, just tape them up. We're going to just distribute a few scattered stars around the edges of here. Using this. Another one down here. This one we could do a smaller one. And this may have been easier with a smaller brush for the smaller stars, but since we've got one there. This is the Joy to the World's 2-pack set. And then we'll do another one here. And then we can also still fill it with a bit more of the greenery. If I had green. I might still do that white background to just give you the idea. Oh, there's another tiny star here. It looks the same as this one, so I might just use that again. Actually, I should put another big one over here because we've got two big ones there. Let's put a big one over here, around about there. Whoops. See, we've got to move along. I've got to remember this. Thank you guys so much for watching today, and we will just remember that we will be drawing prize winners. So stick around to the end. We've got 3 lucky prize winners today, I think. And oh, that's a nice bright one, a nice bright star. And how about we pop another one about here? And you can also remember to use my code, I Restore Stuff. That's right, right here, 10% off. You might not be able to see that, sorry. 10% off anything in Essential Stencils store. That includes the gorgeous new rub-on transfers, etc. So we've got a few stars sprinkled around. I will show you at the end. I'll sort of hold it back and hold it up, and you should be able to get a good idea. And I'll post it on my page. So if you're not following me at I Restore Stuff, you can do that there. Now this one is the other one to the Joy to the World set, and it is saying, and the soul felt its worth. Another great Christmas idea. Christmas song, sorry. Okay, so I do want to add a few more little things to this, but I was just going to give you an idea. See, we could add sprigs and things out to the side like this. So And I love this little swirl at the bottom. See that little swirl at the bottom? You can use that for a whole bunch of other things. So that goes with the Joy to the World set. Let's do a few more of these branches because I've added something to each of the letters so far. We don't want anyone to miss out. So let's do another one. Have we got one bird? Let's do another bird on this S up here. What did I do? I did the one with the long tail. So let's do this one. And he can sit inside here. And I'll show you again for those who missed that, a bit of that shadowing technique. So we're adding white first. Here we go. White first, and then I'll add the red so that we've got a background shadow for it to sit on. And I do have to remember which way I shifted the shadow to. So the important thing to remember too is to wipe off your my bucket over here. Wipe off your stencil first, only because if I put the red on that now, it's going to turn pink. So I need to make sure that I've wiped off the white as much as I can and then dry it off. Use my apron to try and dry that as best I can. Always put your brushes in a wet cloth and that'll stop them drying out. And then we're going to use our red chalk paint. So if you missed the beginning, I'm just using a chalk furniture paint and it gives it a lovely porousy matte finish, but it also gives it this rough, rustic chalkboard look. It looks like if, you know, just used chalk to paint it on or to write the sign. So here's our tiny little bird, and I'll show you again the reason why we put the white on first is to create a bit of a shadow technique so that it makes the bird stand out a bit more. So it's a little bit far away, but I'll show you in a minute. So lifting it up and slightly towards me creates our shadow. And then we go along with our red. And I may have to do a second coat because I can kind of see through that to the white. Let me see if I can lift this up for you. Wrap it in that. Running out of room, guys, on my table here. Lift it up. You can see that a little bit closer if I lift this up so you can see the bird. And you can see a little white line created just around the outline there, which is the shadow that we just created so that it would stand out more. And once again, I'll just show you what we did to create that example here on the black card stock. So this is without a shadow, without a shadow, the brown, and then with that white shadow. So it really makes it pop and stand out. And you can see that a lot easier the closer you get to the board. So we've got an E and an A. What will I put on these? Some greenery. I think the E might look great with a little bit of this sprig. So we'll make that brown. Again, I'll do my white first, just because I think it looks great with that pop out. What are these? They almost look like feather or some kind of feather branch and bottle brush. What would you call it? This branch. Okay. Oh, I thought it wasn't going to work out. It sort of didn't look like it was colouring it in, but apparently it did. And so just wipe that off quickly. In fact, I may not, that one's got hardly any white on. I'm just going to leave it there and go over that with the brown. So here is exactly the spot. I've got to turn that around, then move it slightly, there it is, slightly up and slightly towards me and create that shadow effect. We'll see if that makes a difference if I don't wipe it off first. It's only going to be slightly lighter brown, if anything, but with the red, you can really notice it if you don't wipe off your stencil because it turns pink because the white and the red make it more I'm just going to do a quick patchy blotch, so then that's even better at not mixing it in with the white. If I was swirling right now, it'd mix the white in to make it lighter. I think that worked. Okay, let's see how we went. There we go. I think that turned out well. Oh, am I not? Guys, am I not showing you properly? So sorry. I'm doing 3 things at once. I need a camera guy. And our A, let's add something to the A. What about another pine cone, I think, because we had one down the bottom. Just a lonely little pine cone sitting out here, because we had one earlier the other side. Let's see if there's any white left on here for my shadow look. Yep, just a little bit. See how you can just use so many different combinations of stencils. Oh, I didn't use any of this. I might have to add to this after. I'll stand back, take another look, and see what it looks like when we're all said and done. Okay, just moving this across slightly again, up, slightly across to get my pine cone look. And here's the brown. And then you'll see the white pop. So that is all we have time for today, and we're going to pick some prizes while I organise myself here to show you my finished porch leaner sign. Hopefully we can get it all in the shot. I did it wide like this so that it would be kind of easier to sort of see as much as we could across. But while I am picking this up, let's see if we... Yeah, the brushes are really good. Someone just said, I need those brushes. Yes, you do. They are so great. And they're in a set of 4. And if we can't fit this all in, I'll have to go behind the table and get the camera. So I will seal this. So if anyone's asking about how do you seal it, let's see if I can fit it right back here next to the window. If I can see that far back. Well, pushing that against the blinds. You can almost see it. You can't see the little detail. I'll have to take some close-up photos. So here we go. We've got 'Tis the Season. And you can see the little bird, the pine cones and all the things. So then you can add stars, and you can see there's still space there to do things on the side, you know, add some other things. So I hope you enjoyed that live today. Let me see who our winners are, and I will take some close-up photos. You can visit me on my page. I will be posting them there at I Restore Stuff on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all of the things on Pinterest. Use the code today, I Restore Stuff, and get 10% off all of your brushes, anything that you want in the Essential Stencil store. Here's our winners today, guys. Let me read them out to you. We've got Kathy, Diane, and Lisa. Kathy, Diane, and Lisa. Congratulations, you're our Essential Stencil winners today. I'll step aside so you can see the sign that we've made, well, the top half of it anyway. And I will be sure and put some pictures up on my page in a little while. I might add to it, and I might add some green. So how hot is it in Australia today? It is actually really hot and muggy inside, although it's raining outside. So that's how the weather is today. It's my Thursday, so happy Thanksgiving, everybody. And I hope you have a great weekend, being so grateful and thankful for everything that God has given you, and for family and friends and loved ones. So bye, and see you next week.